Welcome to Influence Matters. I'm your host, Clara Rose. Each week, we talk about matters of influence, crafting your message for the world, or other topics around influence. Or sometimes we have a special guest, which I always love to do, someone who's doing something interesting in the world that I think you want to know about. Either way, if you are building a business, ministry, cause, or brand, you are in the right place, my friend. Today, I do have a very special guest here, someone who has actually been with me since the beginning of my podcasting journey, which I've actually been showing up on his TV station since well, I think this is my 8th year, so a really long time. But today I'm bringing in my producer and friend, John Gaston, to talk about all things podcasting. Welcome, my friend.
Hello. Hello, hello, hello.
So all the time, and I don't know why people ask me, maybe because I've been doing this for a while, people are always asking me, what do you use? Who are you? How are you doing this? Because so many people are podcasting by just plunking down in front of their computer
Yep.
and hitting Zoom or
Oh,
whatever, right?
that's just
And
a bad
throwing their
word.
out to the world, right?
Yeah.
And so people frequently say, "Wow, Clara, your show that it looks great, it sounds great. Tell me what I need to do." And of course, I just say, "Well, this is what my producer told me to do. Here's the links." Right? So
They're probably
this
saying,
is
well,
not
if he told you to jump off a bridge, would you?
I might.
No. No, don't do that.
No,
Don't ever do
he
that.
wouldn't tell me. He would never tell me to
No,
do
I
that.
would
He
not.
never
So,
steers me awry. So talk to us about somebody who has as maybe just getting started or they have a podcast and the sound and the everything looks terrible. Just let's start at the beginning.
oh,
How should we go about getting our podcast out to the
well,
world?
7 million years ago, this planet was created in the universe. The Big
Okay,
Bang, right?
not that far back. Maybe not
I
the
love
beginning
doing
of
that, right?
time.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, so one of the things that people need to understand is podcasting has been around since '07. And I always give this little history lesson because everybody thinks Google and Facebook and YouTube and all that was the beginning. It was not. The beginning was Apple with iTunes. That's where all podcasting comes from. The reason they call it a podcast is because we used to download these audio files to our iPod. So
I remember
we
that.
we still use the terminology how many downloads. No, I don't know about anybody else. I don't download anything. I listen to everything live, whether it's on iTunes or Alexa or iHeart. It's all a stream for me. So, but anyway, I digress. So when it comes to gear, that is probably one of the most intimidating questions that I get. I mean, and not for me. People are just they see online going, well, this person said this and this person said that, and they should use this, and I should be using this piece of equipment. And there is some great cheap crap out there, but it won't last long and it doesn't do well, right? So we tell people if you're going to do this, you're going to do this the right way. And starting off with your equipment is the number one step. If you're trying to get into podcasting and trying to keep it under $200, it's not going to work.
Not going to happen.
Never going to happen. Nope. It's just not. Can you buy some $50 cameras and $29 microphones and you have a computer software that Zoom, which a lot of people use, or there's a couple other ones that StreamYard and those kind of things that people use, and it's not worker friendly. It's just not. So let's talk about equipment first, right? So in
Yes.
front of me, I've got so I don't like any microphones other than the Shure microphones.
Mm.
And they're not expensive. They're anywhere from $200 to $300, right? So the one in front of me right here, this one right here.
Hmm.
So I have two microphones that I can show, right? So The one I'm using here is the professional version of this. But this one is what all podcasters need, because not only is it XLR and can be run into a mixer, but it's also USB and can be run straight into your computer. And then this is perfect. It's really good. It's really inexpensive. It's like I think I bought one the other day for $297, and actually I think you can find them cheaper if you don't buy the brand new versions of them, right? So this microphone here is more like in the $400 or $500 range, but it does more for us internally than just
Right.
what everybody thinks, And of course, I've got Bigfoot on mine, so I don't know if anybody can see that. That's Bigfoot.
I see. I don't have a Bigfoot, so mine's not as cool.
I'm going to have to
Apparently,
get you. I will send you a Bigfoot. Matter of fact, I'm down in
send me a
April.
big.
I will make sure you get a Bigfoot.
All
Right.
right.
So this is a Shure MB7's V, and it's the podcasting version of this. This you got to have a mixer and all that kind of fun stuff. This you do not. Now, if you are running multiple guests inside your studio, this will work, but you're going to have a mixer. But we're not going to talk about that today. We're talking about the single on, right? Now,
Right.
because if you were going to do that, this would be the next piece of equipment. It comes at a side shot over here that I would show. Right now, this right here is a field mixer, but it runs on batteries, and you can use this as just a normal mixer, because this right here will take eight inputs.
Wow.
Right, all
So you could
XLR.
have 7 guests.
Yes.
Around a table, all plugged into that sucker.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Go back to front camera, please. So it's a Zoom, not the same company as Zoom. The teleconferencing,
Gotcha.
not the same people,
Gotcha.
right?
Zoom, the brand.
Right,
Okay.
the brand. Now, when it comes to cameras, and I'm not trying to rush through this because I'm hoping you're going to ask me questions. The two that I am telling people to get right now is, the first one is this, called a Mokos. Now, there's several different versions of these. Oh yeah, thank you, but I appreciate that. So the one I use has a focal length lens, has an iris lens, and a focus, right? So I can do telephoto. I can control my iris so I can have my color, right? Go back to the front. But they have a different version of it, which is the one that you have, Miss Clara. And not only is it got a remote, but it's a standard fix, and you can digitally zoom in and out. And to me, that is the simplest. And I think it's about $160. Don't quote me, because depending on the day, they'll run different specials,
Sure.
right?
Yeah.
But it's a great little camera, and it's USB and HDMI. So if
Yeah.
you become fancy, right, and you start
Yeah.
using, and say you have, again, going back to if you have people in a studio with you, you can still use these, and they're great for, the reason I like these, they're good for close quarters, right? So say you're sitting around a table, and that's where you're doing your podcast. And then, so you have 3 of these on. I just put mine on a mic stand. Very simple, right? But you can have 3 sitting there right there together, and now you're all on camera, right? And that's the reason I like them. Here recently, because Zoom, now that's a Mokos, and Miss Clara's got all the links to all this stuff anyway. So then there's this camera right here. Now this is a Zoom Q8N 4K. Now we were sent this by Zoom to go, hey, we want you to try this out. Now, they have a different version, and I've tried those, and I'm like, nah. Actually, I even told them, go front camera, please. I told them that, no, I've had your Zoom camera, not happy. I've used it. And we're like, well, we have this new one we want you to check out, and blah, blah, blah. So we did. This is the greatest little camera for podcasters ever. I mean, it is a little monster. So what makes it special is that it has on board 2 XLR ports, which means if you have 2 guests and you've got 2 of these mics can literally feed into this camera, control your audio there. Yeah. And it gives you the ability to have 2 guests with microphones, or, I mean, you can even go wireless as what. So here's, a lot of people don't. So this is for me, it's a cough button. If I push this button, I went away, right? So that, but this little module right here, right, makes my mic wireless and it goes back to our board. That can be another video. But anyway, so 2 of these can feed into one of these, and now you have you and a guest on one source. And you ready for this? This comes out 2 ways. It comes out HDMI, which you can go to a mixer, a video mixer, or USB-C to your laptop. And now it becomes a webcam that's carrying 2 sources of audio. Now, I'm going to blow your mind. You see this right here? That is a 3rd audio. So that gets ambient. If you, like, say you're in a restaurant and you're doing a food podcast, right, at a small table, and you've got this, and but you want a little bit of the ambient noise. You don't want too much. You can turn this to have ambient, just a little, but your main master audios are right here. Okay.
Wow.
So this is the reason I like this. And on top of that, it records everything. So you have on board, right? So
nice.
Say you don't even want to take a computer. You just want to take this, 2 microphones or a microphone or just ambient. It'll record online.
Nice.
And it gives you your video, and then it gives you your waves, which is audio. But it'll do, if you're running all 3, it'll give you 3 audio sources individually. It won't mux them.
Wow.
Yeah, it's and under $400. It is amazing.
Wow.
Amazing, right?
So you don't have, so it records you said online. Does it record to the device, or do you have to be hooked up to Wi-Fi?
When I say online, I mean on this
on board
right here. Right. So
okay.
Say you just came back from a big conference, right?
Yes.
And,
yes.
You wanted to get some B-roll footage, not on your phone, but you wanted to have your B-roll footage. This becomes your B-roll footage. So this can travel everywhere. Now, the only downside, and everything has a downside. I don't care what it is. It has a downside. The only thing is there's no manual zooms. It's a digital zoom, and it's a fixed digital zoom. So you can do ultra wide, like a GoPro, or you can do a wide, or a medium wide, a medium, and a close. And the good thing about this is, even though you have a digital zoom on, which most cameras like GoPros will, the minute you go into a digital zoom, it knocks it down to 1080. This stays at 4K. Amazing.
Right? Okay. So you have the quality.
Yes.
But so you could literally go anywhere with that.
Yes.
And a mic or 2.
Yep.
And you're set.
Or even better yet, you ready for this? This can come off, and you can put another module that gives you 3 microphones. Right.
It's pretty cool.
Amazing. I mean, amazing. So you can go do an event and say you get a couple of these little wireless microphones, and I can give you a link to that, and you could put a lav on you, a lav on your interview. You hold the camera, and you ask the questions, which is perfect audio, and then they answer the question, which is perfect audio, and you get to see everything. Now, I always tell everybody, if you're going to do that, get a tripod. Don't be crazy.
Right. Right.
But it is for under $400. This is probably one of the most, and I know you don't like to cuss, but this is most badass little cameras you can get a hold of. And it takes the micro SD cards, so that way you don't have to worry about it, right? Now, if you ever get super fancy and you want to go somewhere and do a lot of audio, like you want to have 4 people, That's when you invest in this under $400. And it will record the audio on here, as well as you can come out wireless or put it on your tripod and feed these two ports. And now you have perfect audio. So anyway,
Wow.
I love the Mocos. I love it for tight spaces. This has become my new favorite toy. Now, it'll never replace my TV glass cameras, which are broadcast. This not made for going to HGTV or stuff like that. It's strictly made for web, right? But that's what it's for. But the coolest thing is this becomes a webcam into your computer. So just like let's go back to the double shot. So I know Miss Clara's setup because I help her set it up.
Right,
so she has a Mocos camera right above her. She has a Shure microphone right in front of her, right?
Yeah.
So this is a simple, clean setup. And then you put a little bit of light. Now, the reason I don't have any lights on here is because lights are you got to get those for the setup. And until we know what your setup is, I can't tell you because
it's hard to
literally,
say. Okay.
Yeah. But I love the company called Neewer in Small Rig. Their rig setups and their lighting setups are amazing. So if you ever need to say, hey, when you're working with Miss Clara and you go, Miss Clara, I want to do my own podcast setup, hold on, she'll put you in touch with me. I'll sit there for a small fee. I'll design and I'll give you what you need. And I'll walk you through setting it up unless you really want to pay me to come out and do it for you, I will. But it becomes simple. Now, this right here, right, it's called a shift cam. And this is probably another one of your best friends when it comes to doing phone work. This can also be a podcast stand if you're using your phone. Say you're going somewhere mobily and you still want to produce in the field, but you don't want to have one of these, but because you want to stream. Well, this right here is your best friend. It can hold your phone, which it holds my iPhone, and I have an iPhone 16, so I have the big boy. It'll fit in here. You can actually run a cable up here to a microphone, or you can do Bluetooth, up to you. And this thing spins, so it can do portrait, or it can do landscape, right? And they have modules on here that have a mirror that will stick on this magnetically. So if you're this way, you kind of see what it's seeing. Great little piece. It's shift cam, and they have a ton of great products. So you didn't hear me cough because I hit a cough button. And so
how convenient is that?
I know it's so good because I talk a lot and I cough a lot. So this right here for less than $1,000, and I know people are like, "Oh my God, $1,000, that's a lot of money." In the scheme, in the realm of it, it's not. So this you're looking at about $700-800, and then some lights, right? But let's talk about some software so none of this happens without it sitting. It's got to go somewhere. So right. Miss Clara is feeding that camera and that camera into her PC. And that PC now becomes your device that can be sent out. So the good thing about what Area 52 does is, just like Miss Clara, that's all you have to worry about is getting gear. Right. We can take over your production just like we're doing right now. She's in Florida. I'm in Northwest Georgia. So, and it's great. I mean, her camera looks phenomenal. My camera looks phenomenal. My audio's good. Her audio's great. So, and then the layout, we build all that stuff for you, so you don't have to worry about it. But if you don't want to do this, we tell people to run out and probably don't get Zoom. Actually, you can get the software that we use. It's called vMix. That one is a good one. Wirecast is a good one. StreamYard's a good one. And you don't have to stream, by the way, to do all this. This is a software that you can get, and that software can run anywhere from, I think StreamYard version for free it's free, but it's very limited. The minute you want to do more, they're like, oh, well, it's going to cost you a little bit more.
You have to pay for that.
Right.
Yeah.
So you might as well just go ahead and pay some for some good software. There are other stuff out there. I just don't recommend it. It becomes frustrating. But to me, vMix, like the software we use right now, right? vMix. If you pay the big boy version, you pay $50 a month. You can buy a standalone version, but I tell everybody, get the $50 a month. Your ROI, if you're doing this right, and we'll get into consistency here in a second. If you're doing this right, $50 a month is nothing. And the amount of work and the amount of product you can do and make for yourself is awesome, because you can be sitting in, like Miss Clara could be sitting, she's in Florida, right? But Miss Clara can have up to 6 people coming in professionally. When you start using Zoom to do that, you lose quality, because everything comes in janky, because the more people you bring on, the more it taxes your system, the more it taxes their system. Sure. They dumb everything down, right? vMix does not do that. And it has an internal system that a product called vMix Call, which allows Miss Clara to talk to me here and me talk to Miss Clara, and it's beautiful. So, but there is a learning curve. It'll take you about 2 or 3 months to learn it. And I'm not trying to scare you about doing that, because, there's other production companies you can use. You don't have to use me, even though I have been producing podcasts and TV station and videos since 2000 actually, about. And before that, I was all pure audio. So anyway, so that's the couple of softwares that I tell everybody out. Now, once you've bought your gear and say you're doing it yourself, right? Consistency is everything. If you go, I'm just going to do one a month, I'm going to tell you right now, don't do it. Don't bother.
Don't bother.
Don't bother. Because you are in so we used to, the podcasting world and the web television world used to be a blue ocean. And I love saying this. I'm probably one of the founders, or especially in the Tampa Bay area. I was doing podcasting since before anybody knew what it was. We were doing web television before anybody knew what it was. I would tell people we produce TV shows for our web station, because we have an online TV station. And they'd look at me like, huh?
What?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We were doing it before Netflix, Hulu, all that crap. We were doing it way before them. Anyway, you got to be consistent. It's got to be a weekly thing. If you're brave, go daily, right? And the good thing about this, if you use the right software and you're okay with doing stuff live, it's like with us, everything we do is live. Well, pretty much. Or we do live to tape. We don't edit. I don't want to, I'm an award-winning editor, and I don't want to ever edit again in my lifetime if I don't have to. So you got to do consistency. Well, this software done the right way goes out to the world immediately. It goes to Facebook, TikTok, Instagram, X, but it does. So consistency. That's what really makes you stand out above everybody else. Because there's like something like it was almost 1 billion podcasts now, which is crazy, right?
Wow.
A billion podcasts.
That's a lot.
But when it comes down to it, the reality is it's under 1 million that are true podcasts that are consistent. That's when you become a true podcaster, is when you are consistent with your product.
Consistency.
Yeah, it really is.
So important.
And then platforms, we run everything through our website. That's just what we do. We utilize social media. We utilize podcasting platforms. We use a company called Podbean, and Podbean puts it up to all the crap that we don't want to deal with. So it's a one location. It costs a little bit of money, but it's worth it if you're trying to be consistent. But me, and for all my shows, we're on area52tv.com. And at this point in time, thanks to another a partnership with another company that we produce a ton of video for. We just broke 4 million. So, and that's a month. That's not a
Sweet.
year. That's a month. And those are not downloads. That's viewership live.
Viewership live.
Yes.
Which is impressive.
So, now that I've talked the whole stinking time, any questions?
I have a ton of questions and we have no time to answer them.
I know.
So the software, is it simple enough that someone like me could like
Well,
get it and figure it out? And
you're a little above everybody else, but yes, it'll take some time. The good thing about it is the software has tutorials online and you can go and watch them from scratch.
Okay.
When I hire a new tech that knows nothing about vMix, the first thing I'm going to say, you're going to go to YouTube, you're going to go to the vMix YouTube page, and you're going to watch all their training videos.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
My TD back there right now, the new one, yep, he's doing that.
That's what's happening.
Yep.
Okay. So that's always the biggest hurdle, is feeling like
Yes.
I don't know what I'm doing. I need help. And that's where having you say, okay, here's the tools, and I'm using the basics. I've got, my arm with my lights, I got my camera, I got my, my mic. So I just have the basics. And then I use my conduction, bone conduction to be able to hear things. But it's a basic setup, but it's set up so that all I have to do is turn it on and go.
Yes.
Right. And that makes it easy, right? If you have to stop and set it up every single time, it's not going to happen, right? Because it's so much work. So simplifying it as much as possible. So since we're totally out of time for questions, I'm just going to put it out there this way. If you would like more information, John is happy to hop on a call with you and help you get started. We'll provide the links below so that you can check out all of the cool tools that he says to get your hands on. I don't have them all, but I might need that new camera, because
I'm thinking you do.
it would have been so cool to have in California at the Elite Mastermind. Would have been the bomb to have. But so I didn't have a show that week, which I don't like because of consistency, right?
Yes.
So anyway, thank you for taking the time to come on the show and just give us a little bit of education about the tools that we need in order to do this in a professional way, so that we're not putting out poor quality or garbage. So, all right, my friends, that's it for today. We will see you next week, same time, same place. Take care.
Great show, Clara. You let me talk too much.